Alright, so this game we're going to be looking at KingFrostyx on Morgana support. I believe this is a normal game. That's why we see kind of cheeky comps. What is going on? Okay, I don't know where people are going yet, but AD Malzahar. Okay, anyways, so straight off the bat, I think heal is better on your AD carry. You should probably start exhaust or ignite. In this game I'd get ignite because they've got a pretty big front line and no like scary damage, right? Like Lucian's not a hyper carry, and beyond that, like they really don't have damage. Like they don't have any damage on their team. So you trinket warded, that's good. You start Q. A lot of times I'll see Morgana players start W, and what they do is when this wave gets here and built up like this, they just throw a W on the wave. It pushes, but it typically doesn't take any CS, so your AD carry still gets all the farm, but you get that nice level 2 sooner. As far as this ward goes, it's not a bad spot. If we're going to be like particular about this ward, I'd put it like right here on the edge because it gives more vision, like probably to here instead of here. So you know, just get the most out of your ward. It's a 3-minute ward and you used it right away. There's really no point in warding here immediately, simply because you're not going to get ganked this early, right? So a good thing to do is look at your jungler. In this case, you have a Lee Sin versus their Zac, so yours is going to be clearing a good bit faster, but Zac's clear isn't that bad. So if you look at their jungler, you see he did his camp, his buff, and now he's doing a camp, and you can probably assume that their jungler is doing something similar. So I think your ward was pretty preemptive. You didn't need to put it there that early. As far as build goes, typically I see people get Spell Thieves on Morgana. You can go either. I prefer Coin on most champions, just because you don't have to do anything. So your Lee Sin comes for a really early gank. Oh no, your Vayne could have had that kill but messed it up. Oh well. That was a good binding. So here, we're gonna look at. So you hit your binding, very nice. You hit level 2. You can do like Control E, I believe, or Control W, depending on what you want to level up. You could have leveled it up like immediately and used it in the fight. Now in this situation it wasn't a big deal, but I noticed that you took a while, like you stopped moving to level up your second spell. I think getting your W might have been a little bit better, just because like when you hit a binding you can throw it on your pool and get a little bit more damage out. But the Black Shield definitely isn't bad considering they have a Nautilus. You just have to have quick reactions, right? Like you got that Black Shield and you didn't use it in time. Your binding you threw into a minion, which, I mean, it happens. Nothing you can do about that. So I'm hoping that now you get your W. Still haven't leveled it up yet. Oh, you DC'd, okay. There you go. Now you got it. So see, this ward that cost you 75 gold at the beginning and took away from some potential potions hasn't spotted anything. You know, you got a gank from Lee Sin early because it's Lee Sin and he's an early game jungler. So, you know, you got lucky. But their jungler still hasn't done much. So, you know, your ward was a little bit early. At this point, that flash is just not necessary. Nautilus has nothing left to CC you, I think. Didn't he... Am I crazy? Didn't he Q you? Yeah, okay. So sorry. We'll run this back one more time. So he Qs you, he E's, he's already autoed you. Um, he's got nothing left to do, and you flashed away. Like, you just didn't need to flash because he's got nothing left, right? Like, all he can do is auto. Lucian can auto a little bit, but you are relatively safe, especially once that combo's down. So your flash was a little bit wasted. That's one of those times, like when you just hit that binding, where you really want to be up there to be able to put your pool down, so you can get a little bit of damage back, right? Like it really bolsters the damage that your Q is able to do, or the damage that you're able to do if you follow up your Q with a W. So you guys get that kill. Good, very nice. Vayne gets back. Okay, at this point, you've got 900 gold, almost 1,000. There's really no point in you staying. You overstayed and got picked. You probably should have backed with your Lucian, or I'm sorry, with your Vayne. So if I'm you, I'm buying Nomad's Medallion and Health Crystal and some potions. I'd imagine you're gonna pick up a Sightstone though. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. You got a Sightstone and 3 wards. You just do not need that. That's a lot of wasted gold on wards. I think you mentioned that, like, you ward a lot in this game. And, yeah, that's excessive. So, you can only have 3 wards down. So, all those extra wards are just sort of sitting on you. It's gonna let you back later, but that's not hugely beneficial. You just healed for sustain. Typically, you don't want to do that. Typically, you only want to use your heal in like an emergency situation, especially because your Vayne has a cutlass and she can just lifesteal. Um, but I mean, you've got double heal, so. Okay, so your Vayne goes in, dies. Let's watch that fight again. I'd imagine it starts with you getting hit with the Nautilus Q, but I could be wrong. Yeah. Okay. Your Morgana against the Nautilus, you have to get your black shields off. That's why Morgana is decent against the Nautilus, is because of the black shield. So, whenever you're in a situation where you think that you're going to get hooked, just go ahead and black shield yourself. You can self cast, which means like use it on yourself automatically if you press Alt and E at the same time. It's a little tricky to pick up, but it's really beneficial because it lets you like cast immediately, right? So I highly recommend you pick up self casting. I've got a friend of mine that coaches, and he says that he uses self-cast as like 1, 2, 3, 4, and he uses Q, W, E, and R to cast his spells normally, and then he has like his active items like on his mouse, like he's got buttons on the side. Um, if you don't have buttons on the side, obviously you can't do that. But you know, if you think that pressing Alt and E or whatever is a little bit too difficult, maybe mix up your key binding a little bit. Just because self cast is really important. That flash was probably a little bit unnecessary too. Yeah. She just wasn't in range, I don't think, to do anything. Okay, again, you gotta get the black shield off sooner. So, um, Nautilus ult, black shield, right? Did your Vayne heal at full health? Oh no, you healed. Okay, so I don't think you needed to heal there. You could have just black shielded the Vayne and she could have walked away. Um, she gets knocked up, pulled, riptide, stun, just kidding. Um, but a lot of damage comes on your Vayne and you. I'd imagine you die here. Yeah. All of that is because of like a little misplay without black shielding in time, right? So if you're gonna play Morgana into the Nautilus, you really need to prioritize your black shields. Make sure you're getting those off and peeling for your team. So you've got like this AD Malzahar thing in the top lane, which is really weird. I don't like that, but whatever. Ooh, okay, so you rushed a Ruby Sightstone, which is uh, definitely something I don't like. And the reason for that is, if we look at Sightstone, a Sightstone gives 150 health and 4 wards that are refreshed every time you base, right? A Ruby Sightstone costs 800 gold more on top of a Sightstone and gives you 250 extra health and 1 extra ward. You don't get to place an extra ward, you just have an extra ward. Now the problem with that is you're typically not going to run through 5 wards before you back. And like even if you do, even if you use all 4 and you could use a 5th, it's typically not that big of a deal. And it's just like really gold inefficient. So you get 250 health, whereas if you were to buy for 800 gold, essentially, with the Sightstone upgrade. Whereas if you were to buy, say, Kindle Gem, it's 50 gold extra and 50 health extra, or I'm sorry, 50 health less. So health to gold wise, it's not as good, but you get 10% cooldown reduction, which is really big, and you are able to build it into something else. So uh, you're able to build it into most main support items. So um, while it's not like immediately better, health-wise, the CDR is really valuable, and um, the fact that it builds into better stuff is really good. So like you can get a locket from it, or you know, some other support items that I can't think of right now. So I think your build order is a little bit off. That'll probably be the first part of our lesson, is we'll talk runes, masteries, and then a build order, and then these replays will probably be pretty quick. That was a nice binding. We'll get through these replays pretty quickly and sort of do like a talky lesson. Like we'll talk a lot. Because I feel like the main problems that I'm going to have with these lessons are going to be like your build, and I'd imagine your runes and masteries are probably a little bit off. 0921. Yeah, that's a little bit off. It's not bad, but it's a little bit off. And then runes, you don't have any. Okay, so we'll see if you can afford runes. We can go tier 2 or even tier 1. It'll just be good to have like a template for the runes that you should get, but if not, that's fine. We will work something out. So you are like a one-man warding team right now, but again, the problem is you can only have 3 wards down. Like if this were like season 2 or 3 or whenever they had infinite ward placement, you'd be like the best player on the team right now because you could have all of your wards down. But in this season, you can only have 3. So you having a ruby sightstone and wards on top of that is just kind of excessive. Um, Sork shoes, probably not a bad item. I either go Sork shoes or boots and mobility when I play Morgana support. Um, so that's good. Um, we're kind of zooming through this replay, but you know, like I said, we'll talk like runes and masteries and stuff because I think that's a little bit more important. Um, you guys are ending like remarkably quickly. I don't think I've ever seen like a low elo game end this quickly. So in general for this game, you had some really good bindings. Um, your itemization is a little bit wonky. Um, we can work on that. You need to work on like self-casting is something that we can try and learn. Or if you don't think you'll figure out self-casting, then we'll just do we just need to work on you casting sooner. Um, you bought the AP flask, which it's not bad. Um, I think in this situation it's fine because you guys are going to be ending soon and you're able to get like extra damage so you can rush through this base a little bit quicker. But typically I wouldn't advise getting that this early into the game. It's more of a late game item on supports. I'm honestly amazed by like how quickly you guys managed to end this game with such a strange team comp. Oh, plat 5 vein. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, this was pretty quick, but we will. I think you're gonna send me another replay, and we'll probably talk for like a lesson and a half. So.